everybody, it's Kate from Valere, and today I'm going to be going through some technique cues to help improve your confidence when it comes to doing a deadlift. Deadlifts are a fantastic exercise for endurance athletes because they target everything on your posterior chain, from your upper back to your lower back, your lats, your glutes, your hamstrings, and your calves. So let me take you through some really helpful technique tips. One of the first things that I like to do when it comes to doing deadlifts is to actually take my shoes off. The reason being is when you take your shoes off, it really lets you get a gauge of where your weight distribution is amongst your feet, and you want to make sure that this is nice and even. The other reason I like this, particularly for endurance athletes, is because more often than not, endurance athletes do weights in the gym with running shoes. And running shoes these days may have really high stack heights, and the whole point of them is to roll them onto your forefoot. And this is not what we want when it comes to doing deadlifts. The next big cue that I like to think about is making sure that you step all the way up to the barbell and your shins are touching the barbell. This is really, really important and probably the most commonly seen thing done wrong that I see in the gym. So with this one, stepping all the way up to the barbell. If you're not touching the barbell and you come down to pick up the bar, you're creating a longer lever arm between yourself and the barbell, and this can put excessive stress through your core and through your lower back. So once you're stepping all the way up to the barbell, create a nice little hip hinge and come down and hold onto the barbell. What you'll notice here is that I'm holding on about just slightly wider than shoulder width apart with an alternate grip. I find the alternate grip a lot more helpful because I have small hands, and an alternate grip helps me feel like I'm cradling the bar rather than to overhand grip where I feel like when I go heavy it could fall out. However, this really is personal preference, so play around, see what works for you. From here, the final thing that you want to think about before you push off from the ground is really engaging through your lats. So with this one, you can think of a couple of different cues. One I like to think about is I have tennis balls or little lacrosse balls in my armpits, and I'm really trying to squeeze them to not let them fall out. The other one that I like to think of is simply armpits to hips. So that just means thinking about pulling your armpits back towards your hips, and this will really help you engage through the lats. Now take a little bit of slack on the barbell, keep your head nice and neutral, meaning that you're not looking too far up and you're not looking too far down, and simply push the ground away from you. Now this pushing the ground away from you cue is really, really helpful because instead of thinking of it as a pulling movement, which might cause you to excessively overarch through your back, pushing the ground away from you really emphasizes you using the muscles of the lower limbs, and they are stronger than the upper limbs. So push your ground away from you and stand up nice and tall. Now nice and relax through the shoulders so you're not shrugging the barbell up like this, and then you're going to bring the barbell down. To start with that little hip hinge at the top, a good way to think about it is simply like if you were getting out of your car and your hands were full because you were carrying all of these things, but your car door's open, you go back and you do a little hip hinge to shut the car door. That's the first thing that you're going to do when it comes to then hip hinging from the top of a deadlift. So do that little hip hinge, keep the barbell in contact with your body the whole way down. Don't let it come away, scrape your body with the barbell and control that barbell back down again, thinking about engaging those lats the whole time. Then when the barbell is on the ground, push your ground away from you and stand up nice and tall again, and repeat. And that is how you can do a deadlift.